Hello YouTubers. I thought that what I would do is put together the footage that I've done with the Kodak zi8 to show you the blue streaks problem and also to show you the zoom in get darker problem. So let's get started. So this is 720p at 30 frames per second. As you can see, there are lines absolutely everywhere. This is what I would class as a low light shot. As the arrow points out, there's the worst of the lines. What I did was, it was about midday, so there was a lot of light outside, and I closed the curtains, just leaving the motor slightly to be able to let in some kind of light. But basically, here we have the zoom problem where it goes darker. I never had the blackout on the zoom, but it did go a lot darker, which was a bit annoying. Yeah, but then the picture got quite better as it zoomed out. This is wvga. It's about 10:30 in the morning that I'm taking this. As you can see, it is probably the best out of the lot, other than the 1080p. You can't really see many of the lines. Maybe along the bottom you can sort of see the lines, but you know, it does seem to be relatively good. But it's, you know, it's only overcast, and it's early in the morning, so it should do a lot better than that. And there we have the lines, or there, especially in the tree where the arrow is, and by the house, which is a little bit annoying. The zoom in was really good. The firmware really sorted that out, but you know, those lines, I mean, look at them, they're pretty bad really. And for, you know, any kind of camcorder, it should be able to do a lot better than it does, which is, you know, a bit annoying really. Still on the wvga, there's the lines, which is a bit, you know, it is an annoyance. And now we go on to the 720p 30 frames per second. The 60 frames per second was more or less the same. The lines, obviously you can see them, and they are pretty bad. But it's weird until you actually notice. You don't notice, if you know what I mean, but they are there. I mean, I went through earlier footage that I did on the first zi8 that I had, and the lines were there just as bad as they are on here, and the firmware doesn't do anything about it. And you know, there they are again. And you know, the flip manages to be able to do pretty clear pictures, but I mean, this is in the day. You shouldn't have this, you know what I mean? And this is the 1080p, and same lighting conditions and everything, and there are no lines in sight. I checked all of the 1080p footage that I did, and there were no lines at all. I mean, the picture quality wasn't that great, but there were no lines, so you know. And here is the bedroom shot. Okay, the picture could be a little bit better, but you know, there's no blue lines. And when in a minute, there's another clip that I've got, and I actually zoom in. So this is with the curtain shut but the light on, so I'd still class it as a low light shot. No lines at all. I did wvga and 720p in this, same lighting conditions, and there were no problems. And as you can see, okay, the pitch quality doesn't get that great, but there's no darkness involved. So, you know, what's going on there, eh? What is going on? Okay, so there you go. As you can see, in the low light, it is quite bad, which you could almost sort of forgive it for doing that, because you know, at that kind of price range, there probably isn't many camcorders out there that can do good low light anyway. But to actually have it during the day,
when it's only slightly overcast is, I think, a real wrong 'un, basically. That's why I'm sort of a bit, you know, narked at the whole situation. But the thing I couldn't understand is why the 1080p could handle all of the kind of low light situation and the normal, and yet the 720p, both of the settings of the 720p seem to be the worst. And the thing is, you know, the wvga you could use all the time, and you could just about get away with not seeing the lines. But then, you know, what's the point of getting a HD camcorder if you can't use the 720p setting? You know, especially the 60 frames per second. So, you know, I basically did this video more for Kodak than anyone else, because I was on a forum and I basically asked the question if Kodak was going to sort it out, and they asked me to put a sample of what I was talking about so that they could have a look at it. Now, obviously, I don't know what it's going to translate to on YouTube, but I'm hoping that, you know, you'll be able to see the lines as clearly as what they are portrayed. It is a real shame, because the Kodak zi8 does have the potential to be one of the best of the pocket HD camcorders, but at the moment, with these lines, it just really sort of, you know, knocks it off the top spot, I would say. I think if you're thinking about getting the Kodak zi8, then you need to look at videos like this before you make your decision, because basically, to get around the blue streaks at the moment, you've got to have as much light as possible. And in direct sunlight, I've seen clips on YouTube where there's not a cloud in the sky, and yet you can still see the blue lines. So, you know, if you're thinking of getting a Kodak zi8, I would suggest holding off just for a couple of months until Kodak sort it out, because, you know, at the moment a lot of people are sending them back, and, you know, it's a real shame, because it is a really good camera, and the fact that you can put a mic in it really sort of made it the top choice for me. But because of these blue lines, it's just, you know, during the day it's just not good enough, really. So there you go, there's my blue streaks video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall do another video later on. Okay then, bye bye.